Saga Incursion options, hacks, community-based options. Hi everybody, welcome to a brand new video. Sorry for the delay. Unfortunately, it's taken a long time to kind of like put together any kind of guided spreadsheet. I've just been busy. And at the same time, it's very busy in the world of MCOC. We go on from one thing to another, lags, problems. I mean, look at it this way. Epoch of Pain drops tomorrow, and then in 2 days' time, we're going to be doing the Love Store. So there's a lot of stuff. New Battleground season, Alliance War season. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on in the world of MCOC. Anyway, we're going to be going over a spreadsheet right here, and of course, this is all to do with the current incursions. If you've not done the incursions just yet, there's some things to forewarn you of, because it's definitely stuff, and this is the thing, you need to test it out first to kind of like gather some thoughts. Many people that I've spoken to, some people on X and other places, have noted on a few things that are a bit of a warning. All you might have done is put in the comments if you have experienced any of these things that I'm going to mention right here. So in the spreadsheet, I've got top tips, team ideas, we've got community tab options, lots of things, as well as some pairings and some other stuff. We'll kind of break this down and kind of like talk about some things. But we'll talk about top tips at the moment, as there's some things to mention if you haven't done it already. But a thing that, you know, you can talk about in the comments is bad AI and damage through the block. Okay, that is something I'm forewarning people right now. If you haven't done incursions, and if you have done incursions, you will know that you are taking a lot of damage through the block. This might mean that you would focus your attention on certain hacks being, well, block proficiency ones, as I mentioned here, block proficiency or armor hacks, ones that are able to boost your armor ratings, ones that are able to boost your block proficiency. So that might kind of mitigate that kind of issue and damage. I'd also recommend popping on boosts whenever you can. And as you're meant to be getting now more solo shards, you can pop open those solo shard crystals and hopefully get some boosts that you can then pop on. And hopefully that makes it a little bit better. You also, if you're having any kind of like issues and you want to revive any of your champions, revive them first before hitting this node here. This means that like they would be revived, so you'll be able to use the 40% of the boost of 40% of the recovery towards those champions. That's yeah, that's for the best with that one. And you can also reset if you're not getting the hacks to begin with that you want in 5 minutes, and then you'll be able to kind of go back in with certain champions. You might need to repeat depending on how you're going to approach the objectives. If you've got them up, then of course you'll be able to kind of do the saga based ones, the synergy sharing champions, and do it that way. That's another option. You also have to be prepared for potential champions like Nihilus with Mixed Master. A lot of people have been talking about that as well. So switching to suitable counters where possible. Of course, evade-based counters, true accuracy champions, or synergy-based champions you could create, or champions that just counter in general, like Falcon, and any champion that gets a true accuracy, Mole Man, you name it, anything that's kind of like looking to counter that evade. A lot of the base level champions that you could use in general for team formation varies player on player. If you got a Deathless Thanos, he's great. Of course, you couldn't move for people telling me that Silk was the better option. I'm a personal big fan of Hulk, but there's also quite a bit depending on how you want to rotate champions and how you set up with hacks. People are also talking about Iron Man. I've not mentioned him here, but it doesn't take away from the fact that he is a great option. I've put in a spreadsheet as well a link to, and you can click Khonshu's Ankh right there, and it will take you to that. So that's an interactable Khonshu's Ankh link. Click on it and it'll take you there, because this is taken from that. That just showcases all the Deathless Space champions. But go and check it out, the link in the description, and as well, you know, click on it like that, and it will just take you to the web page. See, we do those things with like hyperlinking some stuff in just to be helpful if you haven't done this already. So there's lots of options, lots of fun, different champions, and of course, not everybody is going to have Silk. For a lot of people, there was one person was like, "Oh, no, I'm not even going to bother. It's not even worth it." Just kind of like mentioning just somebody being an idiot because they don't bother to kind of like know and understand what we do. I tell you some options. I ask you for some options as well. It means it's a community. That's how community works. People come up with sharing ideas. And it's incredibly arrogant if any content creator goes, do it this way. Well, it's like, what? Just use Silk. Well, I don't have Silk. Yeah, just use Silk. Well, I don't have it. Yeah, that's kind of it. So lots of options. Let's always get lots of options and share ideas. right? So, hex pairing, lots of different ones you can choose from that are going to be beneficial. The easy way to expand it. Do you have a champion that's got buffs? Buff cornucopia, bust amplification. Oh, some people like that. Buff amplification. It's got a fury buff. Champion's got a fury buff. Fury buff potency increasing. Yep. Attribute boost increasing around. Things like critical rating, crit damage. Whatever your champion has that you want to use, if you amplify it, it do more damage. It's kind of like how that works in a very simplistic fashion. So I've put together a little bit on one of the other tabs, Incursion Options and Hack Pairing, because of time constraints, and now we're nearly 7 days since the content has gone live. Actually, less than that, actually, so 6 days. It kind of feels like I should have had this out sooner. Unfortunately, things take time. There's a million threads, not million threads, there's a million tabs to kind of like populate and make. And by the time you've done it, everyone's done the content, and then it's like, oh, well, you missed it then. Well, yeah, there's a lot of things to put together. But you can come up with lots of different options, pairings and stuff. I don't undermine Silk. No, it's actually Silk. It's kind of like a great option. But using Deathless Guillotine, she is a fantastic option, especially if you're going to be building around her degen. There's a lot of other champion pairings as well. I recommend Hulk. And there's the pairing that I like to do with him. I've put in some of the non-saga options. Yes, they're non-saga options. It's just handy if anybody wants any options to kind of like go and play the actual mode in general, because it is a fun mode most of the time. But yeah, I think the only things you'll probably need from this will likely be Hulk, Deathless She-Hulk actually is another great option, but I should have kind of like figured out like a full build of it. But again, this means going back into like replay the content a million times, and like not a million times, it's quite an exaggeration, but at least 100 times in different champions and configurations, which it's just not time. It's just not worth the time because of, well, again, we're talking about 6 days in, and like, oh, the video's out now, Rich. Yeah, well, like there's a ton of things to kind of like put together. Anyway, complaining aside, that's life, unfortunately. Options wise, I put in a tab of community options, not just my own, because I did put like some in here. These are recommended champions. It's kind of pairing these up with other team ideas. And as I said, it's not just about like what I think is going to be good. It's about what else people have champions wise that they could make. We know what Deadpool X-Force does at the moment. We know what Juggernaut does at the moment. My team was Hulk, Juggernaut and Deathless Vision, because I wanted to get the objectives done. Plus Deathless Vision does a very nice rotation with draining degen, that kind of parry heavy. Also, because the champion power controls, I'm amplifying and ramping up on my degen damage, and of course pairing that with stuff like degen, I think it was like degen something or other, debuff upgrade degen or something. It's one of these various ones. I'm probably missing. There it is. Debuff upgrade degen, debuff upgrade damage over time, and debuff reinforcement degen, and also debuff upgrade stun because the champion stuns. Play to the champion strengths. If a champion stuns, increase the stun. Do you parry? Yeah, of course, everyone parries. Well, increase the stun. Do you do damaging debuffs? Yeah, we'll increase the damaging debuffs. Does your champion have a fury buff? Fury burst. You know, there's whatever it is, like fury enhancement and stuff like that. Like, there's always good ways to kind of look at your champion of what it gets as to what you can do. If you're doing, there's one around, what is it called? It's escaped me now. But you know, when you do a special attack and it kind of like bursts, it's like a burst damage effect. That Spider-Ham does. Porker Poppers, I think that kind of works in with that. Then again, Medusa buffs, amplify the buffs. Armor breaks, non-damaging debuffs, gain something as a result. Yep, okay, use that. But then the same usual things. You know, Luke Cage is do debuffs, like debuffs on longer. Luke Cage, more damage, easy. The same thing with Deathless She-Hulk. Great example, great option. Buffs with Serpent, use him. He does a lot of damage. And people are using other champions, not just them. It was nice to see people using champions like Gamora, Void, Sasquatch, and also using Null, Overseer, and you know, Photon as well. Photon, if you have a champion enemy that's a miss, then you can counter with Photon. And look out to that, really. An Awakened Medusa, it's got true accuracy, I think it is, as part of a signature ability kit, which again, you get these options to counter, and it's always fun to counter. It's nice as well to see somebody was using Cassie Lang, so that was nice. I've left the notes from that particular player. It says regen per each non-damaging debuff. I think that's with like I need to redo that then, because that I think was something like, it sounds like Toxic Siphon, I want to say. But anyway, lots of options, lots of fun things. That is going to be it for the video. I may have a video of my own, because I've done my run, but I haven't. I've recorded the content, but I just haven't had time to put it into a video. Anyway, that might be the next video, or I might have put some of the clips into this one, but we'll see. Check out the information in the spreadsheet if you haven't done it already. Who do you use if you've done it already? Thank you very much for watching the video, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye.